Okay, folks, I'm going to do a wee bit of a waterfall here. Just a small one. Now, a bit of a greyish day. A lot of rock faces and what have you. What's that? Okay, this is a 10 across, 8 high, and it's covered in just acrylic paint. It's just an orangey acrylic paint. So what I'm going to do to begin here is I'm just going to lay down a small preliminary drawing. That's all. Okay, so let me see. Just have a break here, just there, and have some of the trees. I'm going to make this a real blunty version of things. And bring it up a bit further here. Okay. Just laying in the ideas of where I am and what I want at the minute. Now, you see the waterfall coming down this area here. And all the darks along here. And here. Okay, this is basically just a simple little drawing for now. Alright. Maybe that's over a bit too much. Alright. Right, so I'm just going to get straight into it. I'm just giving myself that idea there. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down the darks. And a nice brush to do such a thing. I'll use this. This is a good brush, one of those expensive ones. The number 7 Rosemary & Co. Long Flat Series 279. Wasn't very expensive when I bought it a number of years ago, but oh, they're expensive now. Hi folks, just a wee quick announcement. I've started one of those new member thingy-majigs, and I would really appreciate your support. It helps the channel and it helps me. Just click the wee join button below the video. It's only a couple of quid a month. Anyway, thanks folks, it's very much appreciated. And now let's get back to it. Okay, right. So let's see. Getting my darks in. So these are going to be cool darks. A little bit of black, a little bit of phthalo green. I'll put in some oxide red just to add a little bit of heat. I don't want it freezing cold. And some ultramarine blue there. Okay. Alright, let me just lay this in here. Dancing this brush around, not being careful with it, folks. Not at this stage. This is an underpainting. You know, you don't want to be limiting yourself to details at this stage. You just want to play here. A little bit cooler, a little bit cooler on this side, a little bit warm on this side, a little bit cooler on this side is what I'm going for. And I'm using ultramarine to cool this as well, which means that ultramarine itself is kind of like a warm blue, but sitting beside a red, it's cold. That type of thing. So let me see. Alright, for now. I want a complete coverage here, folks. I'm going to now put in some of my lighter colors. A lighter color. Let me see. A lighter color I'm trying to see here for the this new dubbing your voice type thing. Now this is the whitest white here. This is going to be where the waterfall is going to be. I'm not going to put that in quite just yet because it's almost a white. So I'm going to put my second light in, which will be the sky up in here. Okay, I'm going to be using a little bit of what's down here and a little bit of cerulean blue. Now, I have of course gone way too far, but that's fine. Easy fix. Remember what we're after here, folks, a grey day. It is a grey day up in here. And am I grey enough? I think that's okay for the time being. And I'll have it gradating coming down a little bit here. I'm a little bit grayer and blue. I'll put a little bit of blue in it. Yeah, a little bit grayer than that. True blue. Very good, very good. Yeah, just getting it all working in together, folks. I'll be covering most of this up at the sides here. All right, now for the rocks, I'm going to go for a nice grey, reddy purple colour. I'm going to continue using this. So let me get in some cadmium, some raw umber. A little bit more. There we go. It's not so bad. No, it's not so bad. A little bit redder, maybe. Okay, a little bit of blue in it as well. Now, let me just place these first. Give me an idea of where I want this to be. That's a bit dark. Just a bit dark. I'll just lighten this just a touch. And remember now, you don't want everything to be the same. So remember to keep dipping here and dipping there just for extra what do you call it, folks? A texture, just for extra texture. Extra texture. There you go, extra texture. And of course, all I'm doing here is just laying this down just for the time being. Not being special with it. All of that comes later. All that comes later when you get to calm down a bit. You know, it's so easy to get carried away at this stage. Well, you just let yourself get carried away here. Don't be afraid of getting carried away at this part of it here. Let that happen. That's probably a good thing. This will allow you to get all that juice and creative juice out of you. So it will. And help you help you create something. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just talking for the sake of talking. I'm going to try and stop for the time being. Not easy though, you know. You don't want there to be too quiet while people are watching. You know, there's always that. You really don't want be standing there just with it all being constantly quiet. Okay, now let me just check on what I'm doing. All right, for the time being, I'm going to say that will do. I just want to see what this looks like. Adding a little bit of a brightness to it, just to hear, just to see. Aye, okay. When the time comes. Yeah. I just want to add a little bit more color in this one here. I do want it to be a grey day, but I don't want it to be, you know, I don't want the rocks to be sort of everything all completely grey. There we go. All right. Now, what brush should I use for my thingy-majig? I'm going to put in some of the greens here in around the edges. I'm going to stay away from this part here. I don't want to contaminate it yet, but I'm going to be working in around close enough to it, but in and around it. So let's do this then. Let's get in some greens for now. Let me see. Now that is not quite bright enough. It's not quite grey enough either. All right, now. Okay. Nice and soft for the time being. Just messing around a bit. I'm going to be softening this up a little bit as well. And I will add the texture whenever it's dried. So I will. Just dancing that around, folks. Main thing, all I can say to you at this stage is try not to be afraid. This is early days. Don't be afraid of messing it up, for the want of a better term. Because you can always come back and place it in later. Alright, okay now. And just going to come over to this side here a little bit with a proper grey. Here. Bringing that out into the trees here. Just dancing that around the edges. Let me just see here. Okay. Right, I'm going to soften this a little bit. Well, not. Still something to do here. Still have a little bit to do before I do this. All right. I am softening. This isn't entirely a dry brush, but I'm working it in with this brush. That's all. Just working this in for now. You see how it softened those edges a little bit? I'll say that again. Do you see how that softens those edges a little bit? Okay. Now I want to do the same again here, but just in here, but using a different brush. In fact, I'm going to wipe off what's on this brush a little bit and put on a different tone and a different color here. Just taking a little bit off it. I don't need everything off it. But I do want a slightly different tone here. more blue just here. I'm going to be using this brush to work it in. See how that dances that around there now? And not to get it too contaminated with the trees and what have you. There is some contamination there, which I am going to rectify in a secondo. Boopity boom. That's better. That's better. There we go now. Well, we've got a bit of distance there. Boopity boom. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I want this to be kind of like a little ledge or something that might be a bit too, maybe a bit too deep. Alright, I'll just take that away for now. We'll see what that looks like. Looks a bit better. And then I will lay down a shelf here. Just for the time being. Bit of a brighter. Now that hasn't worked. It needs to be a touch brighter. Okay. Just as it kind of they act as a bit of a shelf, and it's a bit too bright, but I can work that in. Oh, I can. Knock that back a touch. There we go. Aye. Oh dear, folks. I kept wondering what is going on. Why is this not working? And I've got it in the wrong place. Oh dear me. That just shows you, doesn't it? I'm just going to wipe this out. Well, now there you go. That's a genuine, full-on mistake. No messing about there. I wanted this shelf edge here. I wanted it up here, and I wasn't paying attention, and I couldn't figure out why does it not look right. Well, what's going on? It's because it was in the wrong place. Anyway. So there you go, folks. There's a problem fixed. I'm going to just wipe out a little, show you how to really fix this. Now, normally I would just leave that and then wait until, normally I would just leave that, wait until it was dry and then just go over it again. But here's a proper fix for it. Just take it off. Look at that. You've made a mistake, take it off. Problem is solved. It's such an easy thing to do. People get so uptight and worried about it, and sometimes you have a right to be, because you're putting your work into this and you don't want it to be bad and fail on you. You know, that's all. Nothing wrong with it, but you don't need to be uptight and you don't need to worry about it too much. Is all I'm trying to say. Anyway, that will do for the time being here. And now I'm going to try and put in this little shelf again. Just along here. Alright. Okay. Little bit of a shelf. Alright. Bit of a dark patch, just as a bit of a stone that'll be coming up along there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down the whites, but it's not going to be pure white, not at this stage. I'm going to lay down like a bluish underpainting, blue greyish. I'm going to use some of this cerulean Now, I need to put out some liquid fine detail for this. Not much, just a touch. I want this white to be done and dried for me when the time comes. Okay, so along here, I don't need it to be too big and wide, so I don't. Just widening as it's coming down here. Now, I'm going to, let me just see where I am here. I'll bring it over just a bit more, so that the white, so that this just heads over to here. Now, no, not quite yet. I'm not happy with that, so I isn't. Okay, so a bit of a dry brush here. Just working this in. All right, okay. Still not happy? Not a happy little choppy. Okay. Okay. Easy peasy fixies. All right. Now that at the top needs fixing, which I shall do forthwith. I shall do that now. Right, just along here. Let me fix this up. I hope you've noticed over the years that I don't clean my brushes that often. Now I would clean them more often if I was doing portraits and things like that. But I don't clean them that often for doing landscapes. I like the harmony that not cleaning your brushes creates. You know, creates a nice. What am I doing here, folks? Yeah, I'm a bit grayer. Creates a nice harmony when you don't get caught up in too much fixing your brushes and cleaning your brushes and what have you. Now, what do I think of this as a start? I think it's good, you know. I think it's okay. Not quite. That's maybe a bit too bright. It's okay, it's all right. Just creating some different shapes here at the minute. I don't want to go too bright at this stage. Oh, not quite yet. Now look at that. Jutting out, jutting in. That's one thing I don't like doing, is creating symmetry. Not in nature, you know. I still have it there, and I'm going to bring this out then in order to prevent that. I'm just going to bring this out a bit and narrow that in a little touch. Just keep watching for that, folks. Watch for symmetry. Now, you know something, I'm annoyed at this. I am annoyed at this. No, okay, I'm going to take this back a bit. I'm going to take this back a touch. There. I want this to be a bit of a wider chasm here, you know. To be, yeah, a bit wider than what I have it down as. Okay, now. So again, there you go, folks. Another mistake. Another mistake, and you can just come along and just fix it. I just really I was not happy with that being, I had narrowed it a bit too much for myself, so I had. Now, I wouldn't say it's entirely fixed yet, so don't be getting your knickers in a twist. But, well, I'm getting there. Ooh. I can always close this in if I'm not happy with it as an end result. I could always widen it again, but it'd be a lot harder to do that, so it would. So I'm just going to keep with this, and if I'm not happy with it as an end result, I will close it back in again to some degree. Okay, I've widened that just a touch now, and I'm a bit happier with it for the time being. I will close it in just a smidgen more. I will whenever I get the chance, but for now that's good. I'm going to whiten the sky just a little bit here. Just breaking this area up a touch here, just along here, working that in. Nice and gently. Slightly brightening that, as you can see. All right. Hopefully now that will give the impression of things going on further on back. I'm just going to wipe this brush off now. I'm going to soften these edges. Great brush for it. It's just an old Chinese ink brush. It's an Aqua Daler Rowney. Great brush for softening. Stippling, as it were. Same over here. I'll just soften this touch. And this will allow me to put on some nice details over that whenever it has dried up a touch. Alright. Now, I'm going to put the water in. Everything is looking a bit too lopsided here. I'm going to put in some white here, straight up. And just so that it will be dry. I need to put some out. This is just so that It'll be nice and dry when the time comes. I'll add a good bit of liquid to this, and I'm going to use a clean brush this time. A cleaner brush. I think I'll use too hard. I'll use this softies brush here. It's an old beat up one. It's a Rosemary & Co. Series 303, and it's a 1/2 inch. So I'm going around here a little bit just to put this out and then add a little bit of the tiniest bit of pink in it. Just the tiniest bit. Oh, barely noticeable. Okay. Now, this is just so it's nice and dry, that's all. For me whenever I'm coming along to redo it. Right. That will do. Almost. That will almost do for now. Okay. Now I'm just thinking out loud. I'm going to make this a bit taller. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I'm just going. This is what I'm about to do is nothing but a test for myself. And you may as well show you what I'm doing. Small palette knife. And all I'm going to do is I want to see what this rock will look like. I think that what I'm about to put down here is a bit too dark, but it isn't. It's perfect. And I would script that on. Actually, if anything, it's a bit too light. Yeah, it's a bit too bright, actually. A little bit too bright. It's a little bit too bright. But that's okay. An easy fix. Now, this turned into more than just an experiment. As you see, I'm covering the whole thing. It's okay, though. It's alright. I do think that this over on the edge here needs to be brought down a bit. Let me just see what this is like. Nope. Ah, for goodness sake, a little bit too much there. Just take some of it off. And kind of almost semi-redo it. There we go. Don't want to go too far. Now, this, if you notice, this is a leveled area, but you couldn't tell because my tone is off. Okay, now, and this is a flat area here. This area is a flat area. This area is a level area. I'll do that in the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. This area here is a flat area. It's straight up, standing straight up. It's the vertical fall. This area here is the horizontal. Okay, now you couldn't tell because it's a little bit, the tones are the same. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to, if it's on the vertical, it'll be darker. Anything standing up when you're looking at it will be darker. Anything down will be lighter. In fact, you can see that even on my hand. Look at that, right? Look at my hand, and then when I do that, you can see that it's lighter. The top of my hand is darker, and it's lighter. Okay? Right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lighten this a bit. A bit of a sandy color as well. And the reason being is that I want you to know that what this is, what it is. Now you can see that immediately creates that look of what I'm after. That's immediately worked. Good. Okay, now I will wait until I think I'm going to be done here. I'm just going to slightly soften a few things here, and then that will do me. Just along here. Yeah, nice and soft now for me coming back. A nice soft base, a nice soft background. I'm trying my best. For some reason I find myself standing in front of the camera these days. I'm trying to not do that. Okay, right folks, that will do until I come back and finish it. Alright. Right. I'll see you when I come back. Bye for now. Alright folks, now back to this one. Let me see here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to work up in this area here, get this top half of it fixed up, and see what we be here. And so a real grey, real bluey grey. And it's going to be, this is a very dry paint, and I haven't been working on this for a good bit. So it's quite dry. Easy to work on, easy to lay on top of. So it'll be scumbles and let me say that's way too dark. Way too dark. I'll save that for a little bit later. Okay, let me see. Now that's almost exactly what I have down. So just a touch brighter. There we go. Just a touch brighter. Just creating the bits and the bobs in it, as they say. All right, okay. Now let's get back to that darker part there. All right, get a few holes for the little birds to go through, as Bob Ross would say. Just softening it up. All right. Nice and soft. Now let's work on some of the foliage. Oh, I forgot to put out the green. I can I'll use my phthalo green. It's a nice strong green. This is a phthalo green. Very strong, very powerful. You only need a touch of it. So easy to overuse this green. A little bit of phthalo, tiny bit of cerulean, just to really lighten that, make it a cool, which it already is cool, one a little bit cooler. Let me see. There we go now. Let's knock it back about a little bit of raw umber. Let me see. Is that too much? Let's try it. Just here. That's too dark. It's too dark. I'm going to brighten it with the sky here. Nice and cold. Look at that. That's lovely. Nice tone. All right. Okay. A bit darker. Tiniest bit of red, and I want to knock. Although it's a strong green, I'm after a strong green. I don't want a saturated green, you know. I want to knock it back a touch. There we go. Get some raw umber. I'm still using the same brush with all that green on it. A little bit of yellow. And a little bit of ultramarine. And some sky. Okay, let's see now over here. That's already too dark. Just a little bit too dark. Now, because of the nature of this painting, or of this scenery, it's cool in certain areas, quite cool in some of them. And let me see, hold on, I don't like that. Before I go any further, I don't like this, so I'm just going to, it'll be toned. That's not bad as it is, but I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, so a little bit of just edge in the edges. That's all. That's nice. I want to go back and have a look at this area over here. Probably use something similar, a little bit colder. Over on this side, this is probably too dark. No, it's not too bad. It's just a tint too dark. Half a step. There we go. That's a bit better. Didn't like the other one. I don't know. It stood out too much to me. Is all. That just didn't do it for me. A nice darker, cooler color. Just come up here and just. All right. Now I'm going to work on laying down some trees. I'm going to use this similar brush. These are just round brushes. What are they called? Akoya Synthetic Rounds. Number 2 from Jackson's. Akoya Synthetic. Okay, now let's get in some of the trees here. A nice reddy grey. See how bright this is. I think it might be too bright. No, I think that is dead on. For now, I'll change it up whenever I'm doing it on other things. A little bit of blue, a little cool one over here. Now, I think that's a bit bright, but an easy fix. Okay, now the easy fix comes from a little bit of kitchen roll. Let's just break it up a bit. There we go, just knocking it back a bit. That's nice. Squiggling it about a bit, just creating a bit of a. Oh, where'd my other? Is it? Just creating a bit of breakages in the bronze, in the trunk. Oh yeah, okay, now. Create just the idea of a few over here, just coming out into the a little bit darker, just coming out into in front of the sky there, so it should have a tiniest bit of a silhouette is all I'm after. Okay, now. Alright, now let's darken the sides of this here. It's a bit too bright on the sides. So mostly blue, a little bit of raw umber, but mostly I am ultramarine blue. Just let's come down the sides here. Darken that up a touch. All right. You see that? That's something that I keep doing, and I only ever notice it whenever somebody points it out to me. And except for this time, I'm noticing it is that I keep making trees into a Y. But I noticed it. Kind of fixed it. Right. So now I want to work on, let me see, where am I here with this? Yeah, I think that's okay. Let me just try something here. I just want to put on a bit of just some life over here, just something to. Bit too bright. Yeah, again, not happy with that. I'm just knocking that back a touch. There we go. Now, I am going to scumble on a little bit of white, a little bit of, and it's going to be more of a glaze, of a whitened glaze here. I just want a little bit up in here, just to be a bit brighter. And then fade down a touch. I want to wipe a good bit of this off. Right, can you see that? You can't see. You can barely see that, but it is there. You'll see it. You'll see it in the photograph a little bit better. Okay. Right. Bum, 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 bum. So some raw umber. You want to get some raw umber and some cadmium red and a little bit of white. I just want to get me some rocky color. Yeah, it's a bit too dark. Not red enough, not pink enough. I'm just going to be putting in a lot of different variations here of things, different colors, different tones, just to create that sense of a lot going on in rocks. Some darks, some lights. And you can see it all coming together. Now I want a little bit of a light along the top here. It's just where the light is hitting it, just along here. A little bit of a ridge along here. Just adds to that, the idea that that's the top of it. Getting there, folks, a little bit at a time. Alright, I want to glaze this one on here. I just want to, I'm going to try this with a pure cerulean. And blue cerulean, a little bit of white. That's not bad, and a little bit down here as well. Keeping this area a bit coolish. And misty. Coolish and misty. Now you see I'm just trying to create the idea of something happening in here, just that the edges are breaking down here. Okay, so a bit of a glaze again. Black and blue, mostly blue. Keeping that nice and cool in there. And dark. All right. Okay, now. I need a few dark patches in along here, so it is just the nature of rocks. Okay, now just soften that up a bit. Softened it up a bit too much. Alright, so let's create again some more rocks and what have you just over here. Just at the edge of that. And the idea that some of it is heading down along here just. And it's peeking out over there. And there. Look at that. That gives us a bit of an idea that there's rocks. And falls and what have you. And let me see, what do I think here? Let me see, what do I think here? I'm going to work on the water. Yes, I'm going to work on the water. Sometimes these things you just don't want to jump in too early. And you can on the water, you can jump in quite early at times, and the next thing you know, you've gone too far. But here I am, talking rubbish. Anyway, here he is. So, now just dabbing it on. I want to keep the idea of randomness. Not covering the entire area up, quite the opposite actually. Really trying hard to make sure I'm creating that I'm not covering up that background, but still creating the sense of falling here. And then when it hits the base here, I want to create the sense of randomness just up in here. And when it hits the base of this river here, you just want that to be all messy. Now, as it falls into the water here, let's go in this direction. Now you see now. Let me see. One of those ones again. You really don't want to go too far. You just want to play a little bit. Oh, excuse me, folks. Sorry about that. So now we have the nice cool blue in it. Now what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of that blue, a little bit, and just create some shadows in here with it. Very faint, cold shadows. Barely noticeable. Just and indicate that the water has a coolness to it. There you get that. All right. Okay, now there isn't much more to do here. So there isn't. Just a few things to fix up here. I just want to create the tip of this. like a little rock sitting off to the side there. And let me just, I want to put in a rock along here, and actually I'll do that right now. So just put in a bit of a, just to cover this up. In fact, I maybe put in 2 here. Just a little. This brush is a bit big for the job at hand. I'm just going to lay down the idea of it for now. All right. Let me jut this out a little bit more. I don't want them to be too level. Okay. So give me a flatter, smaller brush. Okay, just to create the edge. And now let's create the top of it here. A little bit of red and a little bit of a purplish rock. No, that's not right. Not bright enough. Nice and grey too. Okay. And I think that does indeed look a bit rocky, as it were. A bit rocky-ish. I'll put a bit of foliage in it here and there. Just a bit too much on the brush. There we go, look at that. A little bit of foliage in there. It hides it in between the rocks. Look at that. Very nice. So we have foliage up and around there. And let's work on a little bit of foliage over here. A little bit brighter and a little bit more saturated with that cadmium yellow. Let me see just here. Wow, yep. Wonderful. Very good. So now, where am I and how do I feel? I think I'm going to darken up a little bit of the area over here. Just over here. Just want to bring it back a touch. I think it's a bit too, it's too eye-catching for me. I'm just going to, hardly anything on the brush. Give myself a really good grey rock colour. And hardly anything on the brush. And I'm just going to scrape it on. Just to darken this area up here a little bit and under that ridge there as well. Just tonally knocking it back a bit. I haven't actually even done it enough yet, so I haven't, so. Yeah, that's a bit better. I think so anyway. It's just too much of a straight line here. Now, I think I just want a little bit more mist and haze around the water. So, just really cleaning off a brush here. One that I was using earlier. Just taking it on a bit of kitchen roll. That's all spread out like so, and I'm just going to gently dab in the mist. And then I'm going to be taking a lot of this off with the kitchen roll. This is just meant to be missed. That's all. Spreading that out a little touch. Now, I do want to remove a good bit of it. Just look at that. Just knocking it back a bit. Now, what I do think is required here is for the waterfall to be a little bit brighter in certain areas. So I think I'm coming to the end of this one. A little bit of liquid, help that white dry. And now just creating, not going over those shadows, just creating whiter areas. Nice bright areas. There we go. Now I want, you see this here? This is a good idea. I'll show you this here. I want this rock here to look as if it's coming through the water. Hopefully you know what I mean. Maybe you'll see what I mean here. I'm just going to continue this here right through to here. Okay? And then just knocking it back here and there. No, it's not quite there yet. No, obviously that's not it, but I'm getting there. I just need a small blending brush, quite a tiny one. I just want to bring this white up into this here and just blend all that through. Now, one more go with the white and that should do it, as long as I don't mess it up. There we go. Breaking through that. You see the way that rock now looks as if it's cutting through the water. And I think, just while I'm here, this is a nice one. I'm kind of enjoying this. And I think I'm going to go too far, but hey ho. And just wipe it out. But I think that I'm done. A little bit brighter. Just little rocks. There we go. Little crevices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wee step back here and have a look. I think the trees could do with a tiny bit of darkening. I'm going to use that brush, this blending brush. It's a makeup brush, so it's going to be mostly blue. In fact, I'm going to use just all blue at the minute, but it's going to be a glaze. It's going to be very thin. Actually, it's funny how I keep saying that, but whenever you put it down, you're going, I can't use all blue. I need a bit more. I'll put a little tiny bit of black into it, and I'm just working this out here. Just darken it a little bit, and I believe that it needs it. Certain areas. Yeah, that's a bit better, I think. Let me see. A little bit of black, a little bit of blue. Lots of liquid. Just knocking this back a touch. Really darkens that area up in there, and a little bit along here too, just. I think that helps. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. Let's bring the shade down here a little bit. Just down here. Just continuing this line down here a little bit. There we go. Well, it creates a nice dark now. What you're seeing here is the edge of the canvas. But it creates a nice dark line down in there. And then, just as a bit of just to create some, as you would see it, some dark patches here and there. And that's a bit too, there we go. Just breaking that little area up. Something happened to my camera there. It stopped for a second. Maybe computer's having a wee bit of a moment. Yes, don't like that. The way it jumps like that. Yeah, I'm just creating a little bit of detail as well. Okay, I think I'm going to be saying that I am all but there. Just creating. There we go. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call this one a day. A nice misty waterfall. And hopefully that's it. If not, I'll come back. But I think that'll do me. I think that's okay. I think that's nice. So, well, please like and subscribe, and if you can do that membership thing. If not, no worries. And I'll see you in the next one. So, bye for now.